games every other week?
Yeah, championship week. That's been the motto since Hawaii. That question gets asked a lot since it's a rivalry game with the history that we've had, but it truly is just like another week.
That's not the way it was approached your freshman year by the previous staff, that this was everything. That's how they approach these rivalry weeks, right? So
was it two years ago?
When Coach Hoke's staff, I mean,
Coach Hoke's
right?
staff.
They put so much emphasis on these games. How has that changed?
I mean, that was Coach Hoke's staff. This is a different staff with guys that came from the NFL. I think almost every one of them. So, yeah, it's different. Every week is a championship week, and Michigan State's the next championship game.
Eric said he talked to him and Kyle, maybe talked to some of the younger guys about not taking things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were there and they played in 2013-14 up in East Lansing. You were on the team.
Right.
2014 you didn't play. But do you understand where they're coming from when they say that? You know what that felt like then, and not to take it for granted now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been our mindset. A bunch of guys, when Coach brings them up for wise words at the end of practice, offered, the recurring theme of don't take anything for granted. And guys on that my redshirt year, they truly understand that because what we've got going now is special. And if we take our foot off the gas, that feeling will go away.
You weren't at that game in 2014, right?
Was.
You
traveled every game, yeah.
What was that? What do you remember coming back from that? What was that like?
It was pretty embarrassing to go in there and then come back after getting smacked like that. But that's 2 years ago.
Right.
And last year was last year, and this is a completely new year, completely new team, and so we just have our own mindset going in.
Well, one thing that, over the course of the season was developed, you've really been lauded for your consistency. What do you have to do to develop consistency as a quarterback?
Just chemistry with every single one on the offensive line, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, fullbacks in our offense. Just knowing where they're going to be at all times and knowing what I'm doing pre-snap every play. I can't go into a game unsure of a play here or there. There's no room for that, and it's kind of been my focus.
Is wise words a recurring thing you guys do? What is that?
Yeah. So Coach, picks one guy, whether it's once, twice, 3, 4 times a week, whatever we have time for, and just random. If you had a good practice or you've been doing well, he'll call you up and you just kind of pull something out.
Have you done that yet?
Yeah.
What were your wise words?
Two. I've had two. One of them was, the race horses. They've got the horse blinders on, and that's for a reason. They don't worry about what's going on in the outside world. What the media is saying. No offense to you guys. What the media is saying. What other coaches or other players are saying on Twitter. They just worry about their own lane, and that was kind of my message to the team. I think it was during camp. Maybe it was early in the season. But yeah, that was one of mine.
Their secondary is what it was, and it's height. They've got some younger guys, some inexperience, and they're struggling, especially in third down. What do you see from them, the back end of the defense? I
see a lot of explosive players that are hungry. The corners like to match, and they're fast, and their safeties are aggressive. So I'd imagine they're confident in their abilities to hang with our guys, and I'm confident in our guys' ability to get their job done. So it'll be fun.
Well, and I know you. Everybody's saying the championship prep thing, but for you personally as a quarterback, is this maybe not the most important start, but I mean, can you kind of quantify it as far as as you're going on the road, big
right.
rivalry game, your first start out there? Is this up there in terms of importance?
Yeah, it's very important because it's the next game. I know that probably you guys get that answer every time, but that's literally it's the answer. Not that we're robots, but if you guys were in this position, you'd probably think the same exact way. Michigan State, we're in each other's backyards. Michigan State recruits guys that are on this roster, and Michigan recruits guys that are on Michigan State's roster. So we're familiar with each other, but it's the biggest game and the biggest start of my life because it's the next one.
Having not grown up in this area, do you feel like maybe you can kind of desensitize yourself a little bit to the emotion? Like maybe some of the in-state guys, you know, have emotional ties to it. You being from Virginia, can you just look at it as a game?
Yeah, I mean, I try and do that with every game, but I can see how, you know, if we went back to Virginia and played, you know, University of Virginia, or we played at Virginia Tech, it might mean a little more something to me because that's in my backyard. But I think the guys on the roster that are from around here do a good job of compartmentalizing it and just, you know, not letting it get too big.
Jim said that the Illinois game was your best game of the season. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, I thought I was efficient. Went to all the right spots, with the exception of, you know, 1 or 2 or maybe 3. But you know, that 1, 2, or 3 could have been a lot of yards that I left out there. So and maybe a touchdown too. So a lot of room for improvement. But yeah, I felt probably best about that performance so far.
I mean, how much did re-examining your first 6 games, how much do you think that really helped?
Yeah, that bye week definitely helped. Excuse me. To be able to look at, you know, every pass that I did in the first half of the year, see what I needed to improve on, and then just keep that in the back of my mind, not only for Illinois but for Michigan State and the rest of the games moving forward.
You mentioned those intermediate throws. I think you did too after the game. What needed to change, I suppose, or get better in those situations? Because it seemed like guys were open.
Yeah.
Just the ball was it just you just needed to deliver it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a few times early in the year where I was aiming the ball, and that's quarterback's worst nightmare is when you're sitting back there with guys, you know, collapsing around you and you're worried about, you know, aiming where the ball goes. Whether it's, you know, a 5-yard pass, 10-yard pass, or a deep ball, you just got to let it rip.
How do you change that then? What's the difference between aiming and delivering?
I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but you just drop back and you don't say, oh gosh, I need to put it right here or else it's going to be incomplete. You just let it rip. You know, no college quarterback is, you know, in college playing football because they aimed the ball growing up and playing quarterback their whole life. Just they let it rip, and that was my focus from here on out.
Is it becoming more comfortable with all of the routes, all of the playbook? Is that part of it too?
Definitely.
Just knowing where you're going with it?
Yeah, and just the more starts I get under my belt, the more comfortable I was getting.